chillin' with the.
What's up guys, Matt from the Football Boots team, and today, can the cheap CR7 Victory DFs overcome the pro CR7 Superfly 5s? Full comparison, full play test, full challenge. Cheap versus pro, let's do it. So for all of you guys watching this comparison battle between two of Nike's Mercurial boots, who are they actually suited to? Well, the Superfly 5s are for elite level footballers, just like CR7 himself, and the Victory DFs are for club and amateur players. And to be fair, there's not many elite level footballers out there, there's a lot more club and amateur. So is there really any point in getting all the tech-rich Superfly 5 editions over the more basic Victory DFs? Straight up, how much do these two Mercurial boots actually cost? Well, the Superfly 5s, £270, so very expensive. The Victory 6DFs, £80. So can Nike justify that massive price difference in terms of performance and comfort of the Superfly 5s? Or should you just save your money and go for the Victory 6DFs? Weight test of the two Mercurials. Superfly 5 first. 223 grams for the Superfly 5. Victory DF. 260 grams. So there's actually quite a big difference between the two boots. The Superflies are much lighter. Fit and size in time, and is actually a massive difference between the two Mercurials. The Superfly 5 feels very snug, compressive, and very thin barefoot. But the Victory DFs, they just feel a little bit wider, a bit more padded because the upper is a lot thicker, and overall just a bit clumsy. Now what this actually means is you're not going to get an as thin barefoot touching the ball as the Superfly 5. Also, because it doesn't feature fly-wire cables, it's not going to give you as much lockdown and responsiveness, and also there's not going to be the same level as grip as the Veloce or the Superfly 5. But don't get me wrong, the Victories are thicker and more cushioned, but you could arguably say that that creates a more comfortable and protective boot, and for a lot of kids and adults out there, that's a pretty big factor. So we've just spoken about the two uppers on each Mercurial boot, but there's also a lot happening within the boot itself, which again completely changes the feel. Inside the Superfly 5, we've got a synthetic skin which creates that renowned barefoot sensation. But on the Victories, we've got a much more thick, padded and also mesh-like material which really does create a cushion and padded sensation, which the Mercurial really isn't about. So one of the biggest selling points of the Superfly is their dynamic fit collar, and that's also the same with the Victory DFs. Both have that same DFC, but there's a slight difference in how they actually feel. On the Superfly 5, it's quite thin and stiff. But alongside that, the Victory actually has a wider entry than the Superfly does. And to be fair, the Superfly is very hard to get on. So the Victories are actually a lot easier. So we flipped the boots around to have a look at the sole plates to see if there's any differences. Now the Superfly 5 is very innovative. It's a nylon chassis and also contoured, very unique feeling, and it is very stiff in the midfoot but flexible in the toe box, so responsiveness is going to be very high. But what about the Victory? Well, first of all, it's a very basic sole plate. It's not a nylon material, it's not contoured, it's just a flat plastic. But to be fair, there's actually quite a good level of responsiveness in that midfoot because it's fairly stiff. A lot stiffer than a lot of other scaled down boots. Sticking with the subjects of sole plates, let's have a look at each stud configuration. Now they are very similar, chevron shaped bladed studs, but there are a couple of differences. Firstly, they look different. On the premium Superfly, they're translucent. On the scaled down Victory, they're solid black. But there's also a little difference that's quite hard to tell. You're actually going to get a little bit more traction on the Superfly because the studs are actually a little bit deeper. Technology time, and this is one of the main reasons the Superfly 5 is so expensive. But what is the tech? Well, having a look, we've got that Flyknit material running across the entire boot. Above that, we've got the Nike skin. But inside the actual Flyknit, we've got fly-wire cables, which is there to increase the lockdown and responsiveness. And trust me, it really does help optimize that. But alongside that, we've also got ACT technology. Does it really make a difference? I'm going to say no. The Nike skin is actually quite grippy itself. But what about the Victory? Well, I'm sorry to say, but it has absolutely no tech whatsoever. It's not made out of Flyknit, it doesn't have Nike skin, and it doesn't feature Flywire or ACC. Guys, let me tell you, although the Victory DFs are a scaled down boot, the comfort is actually incredible. Because it's got a more padded cushion upper, that's exactly what it offers you, a padded and cushioned sensation. There's going to be a lot of you guys, just like me, who find the Superfly 5 just a little bit too aggressive, especially around the heel. You do get a slight blister. So if it were, in my opinion, which boot is the more comfortable, I might have to go with the Victory over the Superfly. We've spoken about the feel of the upper in hand, but what about the feel on feet? Well, there is actually a little bit of a difference. Because the Superfly 5 is so much thinner than the Victory, you do get a lot more of a barefoot sensation. You can really feel the ball every time you make a few touches. The Victory, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it is very thick. So if you wanna feel the ball a lot, then the Victory might not be the best option for you. What about the performance? And the Mercurials are all about feeling fast. Well, I did some sprints and I did some agility work, and it is actually quite a big difference. Because the Victories aren't as snug and they don't feature fly-wire cables, you do get quite a high level of rollover, which you definitely don't in the Superflies. The biggest selling point of this CR7 Chapter 5s has to be the overall design. Multicolour Flyknit, shatter glass effect, and Nike also put some glitter on it as well. So can the CR7 Chapter 5 Victories actually hit the same levels? Will you still get the same blue tint overall colourway? You don't get any multicolour Flyknit, but you still get some glitter, which Nike have put in the shatter glass effect itself. One nice touch that you get with the Superfly, which you don't on the Victory, is in the Elite Superfly 5, you do get a pull string bag, this one being a Chapter 5 CR7 version. All right, challenge time, Victory versus Superfly. Round one is going to be shooting. Gussie in goal. I've got 3 attempts to score with the Victories on my feet first. After I've had my 3 shots, I'll lace up the Superflies, and in theory, because they're so much more expensive, so much the better boot, they should beat the Victory score. Let's do it. Alright, so I've just had my first round in the Victories and I've got a score of 1 out of 3. I've just laced up the Superflies, and first of all, these feel so much tighter, snugger, giving an overall much more lockdown fit. First ball, 3 balls with the Superflies, 1 to beat. The Superflies took round 1, now on to round 2, which is free kicks with the Victories back on my feet.
To see how I'm rolls and handles. Oh, I was just behind it in the shape of the ball.
Yes guys, alright, so the Victories just got a score of 1 out of 3 on the free kicks, but the one that hit the crossbar could have been one of my greatest ever. Because of that thicker upper, it does give you a very cushioned and padded feel, but now lace back up in the Superflies, 2 to take the victory in the free kicks. That is world class save from Gussie.
Absolute fingertips.
Again, the Superflies took the round, so it's 2-0 up to the Superflies. I've got the Victories back on my feet, so can they score more pens than the Superfly? Alright guys, back in the Superflies, the victories got 4 out of 5. If the Superfly 5s get all 5, clean sweep, winning every single round. So guys, there it is. The Superflies took round 3 by scoring all 5. So overall, the Superflies did take the victory over the victories. And to be honest, the Superflies did feel amazing on your feet. But the victories, very comfortable, very cushioned, and also great value for money. If you want to get these boots in this video, then definitely check out Lovell Soccer to get 10% off using the code BLACKORANGE. But guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Yeah, you messing with the team, then you messing with the squad, mess with one of